Hey, aloha mai kako. My name is Bryan Tolentino, and we have a very special guest here from Denver, Colorado. This is Marnie Ward. She's an ukulele player and enthusiast, and she's holding a late 1800s Dos Santos ukulele, and the story in which she came about it is super fascinating. So this is Marnie Ward.
Great. Thanks so much, Bryan. I'm excited to be here and honored to be sharing the camera with you this evening. Yeah,
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, as far as
absolutely.
um, how you got interested in playing, and
Yeah,
why you love the instrument.
yeah. Who couldn't love it? It's the happiest instrument on the planet, right?
Yes.
I started playing probably in 2012, and I think that's when I got my first ukulele. And I have been a singer my whole life, and have always, found a piano player to play with me, kind of thing. And was like, maybe I should learn to play the guitar. And had picked up a couple of guitars, and they just never fit. It never felt right for me.
They never
And
spoke to
they
you.
never spoke to me. And then I looked into playing an ukulele, and I'm like, I think that's it. And a lot of the music I do is from the Great American Songbook. And
That's right.
so it just has this connection with the instrument. And then it felt right. And then the instrument started speaking to me, and I found a beautiful one that's made out of spalted mango that I still have.
Oh,
And it's just a beautiful sound, and I fell in love. And kind of over those 10, 11 years that I've been playing, my interest in not only the ukulele, but my interest in Hawaii and the history of Hawaii and the Hawaiian Kingdom really just started blossoming over time, and through various readings and meeting people such as yourself and being able to ask questions and learn. And so
yep.
then here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We're all lifelong learners, and
absolutely.
we all share the same passion for the instrument. Because
Yeah.
I'm still learning. But
Yeah.
so how did you come about this 1890-ish ukulele?
Well, there was a show that was happening in Denver that's kind of records and vintage sound equipment. And a few years ago, they had partnered with a guitar show. And
Okay.
it's kind of, similar people that would go to both shows, so it makes sense. And it's a lot of luthiers and people who restore instruments. And I always like to just walk through. I know nothing about guitars, but they're beautiful as well,
Right.
even though they're not an ukulele. And I had walked into this one side room and just kind of glanced across the room, and I saw an ukulele that was sitting there. It was actually a 1930s Kamaka pineapple.
Wow.
And so, right, that's what I said was wow. And kind of surprised because I'm at a guitar show and I don't really expect to see an
Yeah.
ukulele. So I walked over and I gestured to the gentleman, can I pick it up? And he was like, sure. So I picked it up and looking at it, and it was in pretty good shape. And he finishes his conversation, and then he says, are you a uke person, right? And I said, I am. And he goes, do you like that? And I said, oh, yeah, it's lovely. And he goes, well, if you like that, you'll like this. And he reaches behind the table and he brings this little tiny case out and he opens it. And I was trying not to be too surprised, but he goes, do you know what this is? And I looked at him and I'm like, do you know what this is? And even though I didn't know very
The specifics.
specifics, I knew that it was very special. And I knew that it needed to go back to its home, essentially, to be repatriated back to Hawaii. And so I asked to take some pictures, and he graciously let me take some pictures. And
Nice.
I ended up sending those pictures to the one person that I knew who would know what to do next. And so I had texted Aaron Kime and was
Love you,
like,
Aaron.
nah, love you. And was literally like, I just came across this in Thornton, Colorado at a guitar show. Like, what do I do now? And I was shaking. Like I had held the instrument and it wasn't playable. It didn't have a bridge or strings on it, obviously. And so I was just shaking when I went back to the car and was texting him and was like trying to text while my hands were shaking because I knew that it was over 100 years old.
Yes.
And it's like, I didn't know at that time, but like I knew that it was one of the oldest ukulele-ish instruments that are on the planet.
And significant in the history of Hawaii.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
I
always get excited when I see these ukulele.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. So from there, I sent him the pictures. He sent the pictures to Sean at Ukulele Friend. And then we all kind of started talking. Sean and I spoke. I ended up going to the gentleman's workshop who had these. He actually is a guitar maker, and he makes mandolins. And so he knew a little bit about something, at least, maybe not so much about ukuleles. And so he's like, hey, what are we going to do today? And I said, they're going home with me today. Nice. Because I got this one, and then I also purchased the Kamaka pineapple from him as well, because I couldn't leave that behind, right? And so then here we are.
Wow.
And this is the first time we've been reunited, me and the little ukulele.
So after you got it, you were in contact with Sean.
Yep.
And you sent it to him, and then he actually had it refinished, and so this is actually the first time you're seeing it in playable and working with the new bridge.
With the new bridge.
Wow, that's
I
don't think the makers, this is a Nunes, ever thought like 130 years ago that, hey, what's my ukulele going to be doing in 130 years?
Right.
They were just trying to make a buck back then.
Yes.
But if you listen to these ukuleles, they're so vibrant in sound. Yeah. And this one has gut strings. I think that has nylon strings. But, the new makers of today should learn a few things from the old dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
When I got it, it was a little dirtier than this. The gentleman I got it from said he found it at a flea market. And to find something like this in Colorado is very unheard of, I would say. Yeah. Other parts of the country you would maybe run across stuff like that more commonly than you do in the mountain states. But it was pretty dirty, and what I really loved, Bryan, is that the finger markings that were in the dirt, essentially. And it just made me think of like, how many people have made music?
That's
how many
crazy.
People that this instrument has been a salve to them, right? In troubled times or in happy times, and
it made them feel happy, like it makes us feel happy.
Right.
That's the great thing. But know it'd be cool if you played something on that ukulele.
That's a lot of pressure.
No, but no pressure. But so probably the song that you'll choose has never been played on that ukulele.
Maybe not.
And this is a credit to Manuel and Jose and all these ukulele makers from the late 1800s.
Yeah.
And their instruments are being played now. That's mind-boggling. That's really mind-boggling.
It's like 134
Yeah, I went to
years.
private school. I cannot add. But yeah, it's so they're gonna sing again, and they're gonna make music.
Yeah.
With the intent of making music when they were built. I just want to bring up that there's no fretboards on these.
Yep.
What I've learned is that these are the earlier ukuleles had fretboards, but because of economics, they took it off and they just made it. I thought that these were the cruder. Is that a word?
Too.
Cruder.
Yeah.
That these were the older instruments, but they're not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I thought so too.
You see how thin the headstock is, but two different makers.
This one's crazy thin.
Yeah.
When you really look.
Two different makers, but if you look at the headstock, it's the same.
Yeah.
Because I believe they were all in the same shop together, the three of them. So this one is a little bit more ornate with rope binding, and it has this. I think it's patterned after the Portuguese instruments, the guitar players, and more like a mustache. Yeah. So and it has a rosette. And
Yeah, and for me, when I first saw this instrument, I was really taken by the rosette and was surprised actually that it came all the way out to the waist.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen that before. I had definitely seen like an inlay rosette, but for it to go that far out, I had never seen that before.
I believe some of them were even like either burned or carved into the wood. But these have inlay. This one has rope.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, this rope binding was used because they were cabinet makers. They built cabinets. So this is probably rope binding from some sort of ornate cabinetry.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, if you ask me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And this one, the rope binding was mostly intact. There were just a couple of spots that it had kind of been chipped out, but yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Just.
And
in
both of
awe.
them are one solid piece. It's not book matched.
Yep.
But
Beautiful.
still cunny.
Yeah.
Still cunny. Well, whatever song that you choose, it'll probably be the first time ever played on that. I would assume, right? First time ever.
Maybe.
By you, anyway.
By
you.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll follow you.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see. The pressure.
No, it's no pressure. There's never any pressure.
All right, here we go. I love the East. I love the West. The North and South, oh, they're both the best. I'll only go there as a guest, but I love being here with you. I love the sea. I love the shore. I love the rocks and what is more. With you there, there'd never be a bore, 'cause I love being here with you. Singing in the shower or laughing by the hour. Life is such a breezy game. Love all kinds of weather, as long as we're together. I love to hear you say my name. I like good wine and fine cuisine and candlelight. Oh, I like the scene. Baby, if you know what I mean, 'cause I love being here with you. I just love being here with you. Yes, I love being here with you. Something like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It plays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the exciting part when the instruments are alive again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the instruments are alive and it's serving its purpose made 130 some odd years ago, and it's just exciting, you know.
I think something that really struck me in working with Sean with this instrument is that he repairs them to be played again.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
when we go into museums, so many times we end up seeing stuff that's beautiful, but it hasn't been repaired, especially for something like this that is meant to be played, right? They built this to be played.
Exactly. They're not. I know there are collectors out there that they hang them on the wall, but for Sean, he fixes them to be played.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the exciting thing. It's doing its purpose from 130 years ago, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome, Marnie. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for being here, and thank you for loving the ukulele and sharing your passion for Hawaii, and that's great.
Mahalo.